Yo, so more and more I'm just getting fucking sick of Instagram. And the reason is, I think if you swear in your videos, it massively drops your reach. And the other thing about it is I like to swear because swearing is how I express myself. It's how I express authenticity, love, passion. You know, like I actually care about things, and some things are worth swearing about. But it all just, like, life in general can get just what is the word? Whitewashed? That sounds kind of weird. It just gets washed out with like lukewarm, you know, like careful speaking to make sure that you're appealing to as many people as possible and that you don't upset anyone. And it's like, the reality is that sometimes we need to be upset and it's good for us, and that can come from a place of love. It doesn't have to come from a place of like animosity. But at the same time, like, even if someone gives you feedback on something and they deliver it with some animosity, if the feedback is true, then you should be able to separate that from the tone that they're speaking with. And you can say, hey, like, don't speak to me like that, but I hear what you're saying, you're actually right. You know, what happened to being able to take constructive feedback? I'll tell you what happened. People became less embodied. People forgot their own sense of innate safety right here in their body. And we're trying to find psychological and physical and emotional safety through other people to such an extent that we're just kind of becoming these like wet blankets of individuals. And the more time I spend actually cultivating myself, the more I realize how good it feels to not need others as much, but to love and want to be with others, because humans are amazing. There's a big difference between needing to manipulate the opinions of others so that we can feel comfortable within ourselves versus showing up in the way that we want to, magnetizing others because that's coming from a genuine place, and showing everyone that we can say whatever the fuck we want to say. And when it comes with the right energy, from the right place, from sincerity, for the good of the human spirit, then it's fantastic to say exactly what we want to say. I've spoken about this in other videos, but the quick version is this. Language has a particular charge or a tone. The words aren't what matter as much. It's the vibration. It's the way you say it. It is the heart and soul behind your words. And sometimes you can say things with a different tone and it makes them completely okay, even though the words on paper are bad words, you know? Quick example, when I was at school, we used to play indoor soccer. The school was very much multicultural. There weren't actually that many cultures. It was mainly Asians and Indians, and then there was like a small percentage of white kids, and then there was other people from, you know, various parts of the Arab world and all of that. This school was like that because it was based on academic merit, and those kids worked the hardest, and those kids had parents who instilled that work ethic in them. I had a friend called Moose who was an absolutely beautiful guy. That was his nickname. He was from Sri Lanka, and with him, he would have to lie to his parents sometimes because, like, he'd want to go out and see his girlfriend. He'd tell his parents that he was going to see his best mate, who was the SRC president, Dan Tan. Like, his parents were so strict. The point is, like, I don't know what the point of that was. The point is that these kids work so hard, and we all knew that. Everyone knew that. Everyone knew that anyone in the school was there on merit. So there was no, you could call someone a nerd. And it's like, yeah, obviously, dude. Otherwise, how would we both be here having this conversation? You could be like, oh, let's play soccer and do the sides as like curries versus Asians versus whites. And the Indian kids are like, yeah, cool. Everyone's like, yeah, cool. Curries. Some people would be like, oh my God, you can't say that. Well, we can, and no one cares, and everyone loves each other, and we're all there for the same reasons, so we can say whatever the fuck we want, and there's no divisiveness. This is the difference between political correctness and just being genuinely sincere in your care for other people. And if someone had said, hey, don't call me that, it'd be like, oh, well, but okay, why though? Like, I'm not being mean to you, I'm just using a word. And we can break this down, we can go into all of the fucking stuff around, like, language and culture and systemic this and fucking whatever. And I get that stuff. I understand that. I went to uni, I studied identity politics and all that shit. I did all of those sort of art subjects. Like, I've written essays on that. I get it. But when it really comes down to it, that stuff just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The fact we focus so heavily on that layer of life is just a reflection of how fucking empty we are on the level of soul. And, you know, like, if you're treating someone well, there are so many other ways to show love. Language is just one tool. And we just, when we fixate on language above and beyond all of the other ways to express love or to communicate, not even love, just body language, vocal tone, something like 93% of communication is nonverbal, and a huge part of that comes through vocal tone, another huge part through movement, and only like 7% or something like that is actually through the words we use. But when we fixate on that 7%, we kind of like forget about the rest of life. And this is the thing about the modern world. We're getting fixed on symbols and representations. We're getting fixed on the stuff that doesn't matter as much, and we're actually building lives around that stuff. It's there and it's okay to use, but there needs to be a substance coming through it. We can't build a life around symbols, man. And yet people do. And yet, you know, the financial system, that's what it is. It's built on symbols. Some dude's face on a fucking note, and the note supposedly has some value, except they're being printed at a rate which inflates the fuck out of them and deflates the value. So we need to remember that the real value comes from human connection. It comes from practicing things, being good at things, from skill, from application of the human consciousness and body, from showing up for our friends and being a good friend. It comes from things of innate value which have material use beyond the agreements we make about, you know, the wanky consensus that we decide is valuable. It's not worth getting too pissed off about this stuff, I say to myself as I start to get riled up. The point is, don't base yourself there. We can use all of these tools. You can have a phone, fantastic. You can use money, fantastic. You can make a ton of money. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But the point is, don't base yourself in the outcome. Don't base yourself in the symbol. Don't base yourself in the secondary and the representation. Base yourself in the actual, like, the thing. What is the thing? I don't know. Why don't you look for it? Why don't you lean into it? Why don't you see how deep that sense of realness in life actually goes? That's an infinitely rewarding path. For example, like, I did my standing practice this morning, got my legs burning, did the qigong, whatever. I don't want to go into it too much. Did it, felt great, went and got a decaf coffee because I'm a pussy, and then read a book, and then came back here to film videos for other people. Decided I didn't want to take my shirt off to film the videos for people to get extra views, because I can't be fucked dancing around like a monkey to get likes and views on stuff. Posted a video instead, just about what I did and talking about the process and inviting people to jump on board with my program so I can coach them. I was like, I'm not going to be this influencer dude. I'm just going to tell people what I can give them, and I know I can give it to them, and I'm fucking confident I'm going to transmit that. And this is a rant, by the way. If you don't like rants, don't watch this. I'm not promising that this is going to be valuable for you. This is for me. I'm just sharing it. That's the essence of creativity, doing it for you and just sharing it. So anyway, I post this video and I think it's really good, and I've written a really good caption, and the thing gets no views. It's like, I have 47,000 followers on Instagram, and after 12 minutes, I don't have a single engagement on this post. And I'm like, okay, I think it's because I swore. I think it's because the apps are based around this secondary, careful, sort of diluted, use your language, don't say that, you'll get banned, don't say this, you'll fucking, you know, be deplatformed. Don't you guys feel a bit like, doesn't that seem a bit silly? Like, the idea that someone could be more worried about being deplatformed than being worried about, like, having a good walk in the morning. I get it. Like, I make money off that, so it's important. Like, it's my business, right? Like, if Instagram just went to shit, then I'd have other ways to do things and I would absolutely get by, because that's who I am, and I'm not going to fucking quit. But, like, it's so funny how quickly you can start to prioritize all of the offshoots of the real thing and forget about the real thing. And I think it's really important. I think that's why Black Mirror, that TV show, got taken down, because people know this stuff is true. And when you say it, ooh, sometimes you stir up some emotions and ruffle some feathers. And so we shouldn't be spending too much time hanging out on these platforms where if you ruffle feathers and speak the truth, people flip out because they've been trained into being so fragile and docile that they don't know how to look in the mirror. It's so sad. It is so, so sad that this generation, including myself, but especially the young ones, are being like mentally smushified, just being mentally fucked by the way the algorithms manage our neurochemistry for us and prevent us from accessing these natural states of discomfort to allow growth. So yeah, but it's okay, they can be there. What's most important is that we have something that's more important. Like if you're trying to break an addiction, you don't just tell someone, oh, you fucking prick, why don't you stop smoking and drinking? You give them something better to do. You just give them something that's actually more genuinely rewarding. And we as human beings, we know what's rewarding. We have a biology which is adapted over God knows how long, and an incredible brain and incredible social systems to know what is innately rewarding. Like as soon as we feel it, we know it. As soon as you do something that really lights you up, you know, no one has to tell you. It doesn't matter what it is. But when you're not doing it to avoid doing the bad thing because someone told you it was bad, like you're still fixating on the thing that you're trying to get away from and thereby creating more of it in consciousness. You're magnetizing yourself to it by trying to get away from it. So the answer isn't to try to get away from this stuff. In the same way that when you're meditating, the answer isn't to like avoid thinking or to block the thoughts. It's just to cease interest. Just cease interest. Just walk away. Just walk towards, don't walk away, walk towards something that has innate value and show up for that. You know, keep a finger in the pie of the virtual world. Take what you can take from it, give what you can give through it. But man, you're more than this. I'm speaking to myself and you are a part of me. We're the same fucking thing. Do you get that? You're more than this. I'm more than this. We're more than this. Let's act like it. Let's take some risk. It's a risk not to take the risk. There's no risk in reaching out to people with openness and being genuine. It's another thing we know how to recognize. We know how to recognize genuine people. You don't have to watch your language too much. Just be genuine. Just know that like, if you cause harm, you're going to do your best to reconcile that. Just know that you're going to do your best to do good and you're going to make mistakes, but be honest about them and keep doing your best. It unfolds. It keeps moving. Life can heal itself and keep moving. The ways that we believe and we think they're stagnant, but the essence of life is constantly unfolding. And we all know that deeply because that's what we are. So when you move through life accepting that you're going to make mistakes, but you keep showing up, everyone will meet you at that level and they'll trust and love you more because life recognizes life. Truth recognizes truth. That's the fucking way it is. All right. I think that I've imbued this video with a bit of energy, and I think that you're feeling that energy now, and I hope that you take that energy and you put it into something which really lights you up, something that feels really, really worthwhile for you. Never mind being worthwhile for anyone else. Make it so that it's not a win-lose game, but it's a win-win game. Go and apply it in some way. That might even mean sitting still, or it might mean going for a walk, or writing, or drawing. Maybe it's something that you haven't done for a long, long time. That's what this video is for. And it wouldn't be complete without a straight up sales plug, which I'm going to start doing at the end of these videos because I'm a shifty dude. I'm a shifty dude. I get in, I get close, we talk, you think you like me, I think, yeah. And then I'm like, buy my program. So on my website, attuned.space, you will see ways to work with me. You can work with me one-to-one, you can work with me through my group program. There's a couple of options. The group program is to help you reduce pain and tension in your body, to help you open into a more effortless, relaxed posture, and to build a strong, light, connected physicality. And you'll do that in a way which feels therapeutic, potent and doesn't leave you fucked up the next day. This is really cool healing work that I've been applying successfully with elite athletes, ranging from, pro bull sports to the Olympics to CrossFit. I've been doing this for quite a while. Not everyone on YouTube is going to know this, but like, I've been in this game for a while. I've worked with some pretty amazing people. And I've also worked with like mums and dads, people in chronic pain, people who teach others. I've helped physiotherapists. I've done a lot of stuff. And the distillation of that is actually quite simple. It's simple and it's effective. There aren't any crazy secrets. I actually just want to demystify the process of healing and transforming yourself from the inside out. I just want to make it really accessible for you so that we can collapse some of this complexity that confuses and overwhelms your mind and bring this back into a grassroots practice, just like what we've been talking about as the theme of this video. It's about what you bring to it. It's not about all that other shit, but there is also a skill to going through all of the shit, sifting it. Yeah, that's my life's work, and I can help you with it a lot quicker than if you went alone. So attuned.space, ATTUNED.space. That's where all my stuff is on my website. Program starts August the 12th, which is not long. It's less than a week. So if you're interested in getting on board and you're someone who is able to apply themselves and actually has some money to invest in this at this point in time, then we'll book a call and dive in for 9 weeks of what will be profoundly transformative. All right, much love. Bye-bye.